Today, we're going to learn how to draw a Pokemon, and it's a particularly exciting Pokemon called Dragonite. We're using this book called How to Draw a Pokemon, and Dragonite is on page 21. You can see we have 5 steps to reach our ultimate Dragonite. So the first step is we start by drawing Dragonite's head and body. Make a circle. And then his body is kind of like a pear shape almost. Just like that. The next step is we draw the antenna, the mouth, the hands, and the feet. So let's do that. Here's a hand. Here's a hand. Here's his leg. Here's a part of his leg. His foot, his other leg, his knee, at least I think that's a knee, and his other foot. Oh, we almost forgot the antenna. Antenna here, and an antenna here. Third, we draw the claws in the hands and feet. Don't forget the tail and wings. So we're going to start off with a wing, up to a point, down to a point, and kind of like an upside down W for a wing. This side, the wing is kind of behind him. So we can make a little point there, but then it points back behind. And remember, we want claws too. He's a Dragonite. So to make your claws, you may have to erase a little bit of the hand that you drew. And we're going to be erasing certain parts of that already. So here's a claw, there's a claw, there's a claw. And then we're going to do the same thing here. Erasing the front of his arm and certain parts of his hand to make those claws poke through. And when you do the claws, they kind of look like triangles, but they're a little bit circular on the end, kind of like a semicircle on the end. Next, we're going to erase these parts under his kneecap, as well as this part in this knee, or leg, I should say, and then this part here. Okay? Similarly, we're going to do the same thing here. Just erase the middle parts. It's okay for now. We'll make it a little bit better in a second. Finally, one thing we forgot last time is to draw his snout. So here's a snout. Does that look like a good snout, Ethan? Mm-hmm. All right. That's kind of a big snout for him, but that's okay. I'm not the perfect drawer, and neither are you, chances are, and that's okay. So then you want to erase the parts that are inside of his snout. Okay? And now we're going to go to the next step. Draw the eyes, nose, and details in the chest and tail. Okay? You see all those details there? So, first let's start with the eyes. Actually, one thing we need to do is make a little bump on the top of his head. Dragonite has a bump up here. I don't know what that's for, but it's a bump. Okay? So let's do the eyes. Now the eyes kind of look like you're going to go up in an oval, but then you draw a line on the bottom, right? Kind of like an oval down and a line. This eye is on the side of his head. Okay? And then I want you to trace right around his face, right? I didn't mean to do that. And it's okay if you mess up, because everybody messes up sometimes. Everybody's Dragonite's going to look just a little bit different. Now, he's got 2 nostrils poking out here, right? Get that part right. Okay. And then remember what we saw before? He had a tail poking out the back, as well as some details on his belly. So we're going to go down like this. Actually, that's not very good. You kind of want to follow the path of his tummy here. So just like that. And then his tail's gonna poke out the backside. See that? And I'm gonna make it, you wanna make sure his tail kind of connects under his body. See, just like that. And this Dragonite kind of has a big belly, but that's okay. So and then you make these little lines on his stomach. You can make them however you want. You can make lots of them or just a few of them. Either way is fine. And then it comes to a point here, and the lines get closer and closer as we get tighter, closer into his tail. Just like that. Okay? Now the other details that we've forgotten so far as we trace the outside of his arm, right? Inside of his arm, are the details on his wings and his feet. We also forgot to do the claws, so let's do the claws on his feet right now. And just like we did with the hands, we're gonna do claws that come, 3 claws that come kind of through his foot. You getting all this, Ethan? And again, I'm just doing tracings of the lines we already made at the beginning, those circles that we made, and then we erase the inside parts of them. So whenever you do this the first time, before you make your final tracings on it, you want to go really light with your pencil so that you can erase it well. All right? So now another thing I forgot to do is the inside of his eyes. See that? And it looks like there's a little bit of black, right there on his eyes. So we're gonna try to do something similar. You can zoom in on his eyes. Do you see how I did that? See that? And we're gonna color that, whoops, scoot back with the camera. We're gonna color the inside of his eyes right here. Okay? All right? Now let's do the very last thing, which is finishing the details on his wings. So this wing goes up. We're tracing the wing that we already made. Upside down W or an M. And there's another line that goes up to the top of the wing and down to this point. And then you do a line that kind of points towards the middle part, right? Similarly on this side, we're gonna do a line up like that. A line that would point down to the middle part, which is behind his arm, because he's waving at us. All right. Now the last thing we're going to do is trace his antenna. Tracing his antenna. Now zoom out so that people can actually see what we got going on here, Ethan. All right. Does that look like Dragonite to you?
Yeah.
That's Dragonite. You know what you could do too? Does he have teeth?
Yes.
He does. You could do little fangs poking out. See his fangs? He's got all fangs poking out. And you could do all kinds of other cool things. Like you could make patterns on his head or his arms or anything like that. And then after you're done doing this, then you need to color him. So we're going to use Caleb to help us color.
Caleb, do you want to help us color?
All right. Caleb, he's going to draw the Dragonite that we just, or color the Dragonite that we just drew. And you got 2 colors here, right? Gray and blue. You ready? Are you ready?
I want to be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test, to train them is my cause. I will travel across the land, searching for...
Here's the Dragonite we drew. How does yours look?